the #1 Costa Rica real estate and investment podcast, bringing you experts from all over Costa Rica.
Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to episode 136 of Costa Rica Real Estate and Investments with me, your host, Richard Bexon. Today, we're going to be talking with Pablo Arias. I was actually on his podcast the other day discussing investing in Costa Rica and kind of giving advice to people. He has a company called International Relocation Partner. Basically, it's a company that helps people ship things mainly here to Costa Rica. He says he charges for the shipping and all the relocation information is for free. So these guys are great at what they do. And I think for anyone wanting to take advantage of the investor visa, the import taxes, the 2 free vehicles that you get in household goods, I would certainly talk to him just because there are some intricacies as with and bureaucracy as most things in here in Costa Rica. But his team does a great job. And I know a few people that have used him and are very, very happy with it. So we'll be talking to him about kind of his advice on shipping things here to Costa Rica and also investing. Again, quite a few of you are reaching out. Thank you very much. I think for anybody that hasn't listened to the podcast, basically we help people, I would say, make a soft landing when investing, building, constructing here in Costa Rica. We have about 19 homes and 2 hotels that we're project managing at the moment. Plus, we're also looking at doing some commercial projects as well. So we kind of got our fingers in, I would say, a lot of pies. But I think anyone that's looking for some help and guidance in investing or doing anything in Costa Rica, you can reach out to us, info@investingcostarica.com. That's info@investingcostarica.com. But enough of that. Let's get straight into the podcast. Good afternoon, Pablo. How are you doing?
Hey, how are you, Richard? We're doing all right.
Fantastic. Pablo, I appreciate you taking the time to come on the podcast with us. I know that, again, I was on your podcast the other day, so I said, well, you've got to come on mine so that we can kind of, get the word out there about the services that you guys are offering there at International Relocation as well, because I think you guys are doing an outstanding job.
Thank you. I do appreciate the opportunity, and I'm happy to share with your audience.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, Pablo, the question I like to ask everyone is just to get an idea on like how your work volume is at the moment, meaning that like if you were to compare it, this year compared to last year, I mean, how are you seeing this year compared on like, with the current economic and, world conditions that we have at the moment? You seeing a slowdown? Is it pretty stable? Is it picking up?
I do feel, but this is seasonal. So sure. This particular season, summertime, it's usually, we're pretty busy at this time.
Yep.
And it goes the same for other international shipping companies or international moving companies. This is high season. So we're very busy.
How would it compare to last year though? Was last year busier or is this year busier?
Last year we also have a big season.
Yep.
But I do feel there are different reasons to it. The last year you have that after COVID effect.
Yep.
So it was this big after COVID effect, and that most of our customers, and I did a lot of the interviews with our customers. We do this consultation, so we get to talk to them for 30 minutes to an hour. So lots of different reasons why people move, but I felt like this idea after now I can work from any place. Now I can, should I be in Colorado or should I be in Tamarindo or Potrero? Yeah. People have these ideas or dreams of retiring in Costa Rica or making investments in Costa Rica, and this after COVID effect just increment that idea, and so people did early retirements. That's what I feel. What's happening right now, I do think the financial situation within the U.S., what's been happening with the dollar, people is thinking, where else should I allocate my money? This is just my personal, I'm not an expert, but this is just my personal thought on this. And I see people sometimes feel like they just want to run away from, how things are being managed or governed in United States and Canada as well.
Okay, great. I mean, sorry to keep digging at it, Pablo, just because again, the listeners would you say January, February, March 2023 is bigger than 2022, or like it's kind of about the same?
No, I think right now it's a little bit higher. We have a little bit more volume, but that's not twice as much.
Yeah.
But I do feel we're getting a lot of these customers who are ready to move. Our sales cycle is a long sales cycle. I mean, we talk to a customer a year before sometimes before they decide to move. So we get another email when they're ready to do it. Now we're ready to move.
Yeah.
And I do feel now it's a little bit higher, than before. The same thing is happening with Panama. We're getting a little bit better numbers in Panama. But I do feel is sometimes this is my personal feeling about this, is sometimes people, they want to do it, they're thinking about making the investment, they're researching, and they just need this additional push, this additional reason. And something happened with the cryptocurrency crisis, this FTX thing happened, and somebody's gonna say now it's time for me to do it. Or something happened with the Silicon Valley Bank 2 weeks ago, now it's time for us to move. That could happen. The same thing happened to me. That was my impression. The same thing happened with COVID.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I speak to so many people that are just like, look, I'm sick and tired of like what's going on in my country. I spoke to a guy yesterday who was like, look, there was another school shooting yesterday, and like, I just don't want to bring my kids or my grandkids up in that, So whereas here in Costa Rica, I mean, nothing happens, man. I mean, that's the beauty of it. I mean, they report car crashes on the news. It's crazy sometimes. But I mean, you're based, which countries do you serve? Costa Rica, Panama?
Mm-hmm. Our headquarters, or where we established this business, is here in Costa Rica.
Yep.
So 30 years in Costa Rica. 5 years ago, we opened a corporation in Panama. Yep. It was busy. I got invited, it all started. I got invited to talk at the international living events for Panama. They didn't find not a reliable company who wanted to be their guest speaker. So I did the event, and I started getting a lot of leads out of this like well-known magazine for expats. So I opened a corporation in Panama, and I started doing business in Panama about 5 years ago. Then I opened another corporation 2 years ago in Nicaragua to open an office, which is our back, like at the back end of the operation is all based in Nicaragua. And about a year ago, I opened another corporation in the United States, just because 90% of my customers are Americans. They want to pay through a local bank wire in the United States. Well, and this has been, a steady growth. But like last week, we sold 2 shipments that are not to Costa Rica, not to Panama, not to Nicaragua. Sold 2 shipments, one to England, another one to Portugal. Wow. So we are servicing now customers who are looking to move to other destinations. And what we're trying to do, because I mean, we were not an expert per se, I would say, to UK. So, but we know what questions to ask. So we contact our agent in UK. We research the policies. We do a meeting with them, making sure the customer understands what are the requirements. And then if the customer understands, we have everything that is needed, then we operate the service. So in those destinations that where we have less experience, we know the questions to ask to a customs broker in UK or to an international moving company that is based in other countries.
So, I mean, it sounds like the core of your business is shipping. Am I correct?
That's correct. The core is shipping, and in US, you have probably thousands of companies that can do shipping. In Costa Rica, hundreds, but we are very niche. So we pick and choose which customers we want to serve. In this case, we decided to serve private investors or expats or retirees that are looking to move abroad to countries, and our top 5 target destinations are Costa Rica, Panama, Mexico, Portugal, and Spain, which is the countries where you are having this exodus of people leaving California or Toronto, Canada, to these destinations. We have tracked this phenomenon of people, and we're saying this is the main markets we want to focus on.
Fantastic. Well, I mean, I know that you guys do a great job, but I mean, what things, do you ship? And, what are some of the frequently asked questions?
Okay, I would say most people overestimate this process.
Right.
So because there is a lot of companies in the United States or Canada that they would say, hey, I need the service. Can I ship my household goods? And most are going to say, yes, I'm happy to offer the service. And they will have a salesman, which is a different approach. I don't like to sell. The only thing I sell is I'm not going to sell you into anything that it doesn't work for you. And I'm going to give you all the bad things that could happen, because I need to tell you upfront what is the risk. And so I would say most people overestimate this process. They don't know what questions to ask. And it's important before anybody that wanted to do an international shipment to really sit down and talk to an expert.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's not me. Just talk to an expert on the destination side, because that's where a lot of the issues could happen. You could be shipping a container full of things, but just one single box that has something that requires a special permit could put the entire container on hold for weeks or months. I mean, I hear things, countries like Colombia, if you don't have the paperwork that is required, Colombia will make you pay for the shipment back to your country.
Wow.
And it's an expensive service. So every country have different policies. We have a database of all of these policies per each country. But even with that knowledge and experience over years, we go into, let's do a consultation meeting with our destination agent, and let's make sure that you meet the requirements so everything goes smoothly. There is a lot of moving parts to this. So do not overestimate is the big thing. Now, the most frequently question I'm getting right now, and this is for Costa Rica, is, now that there is a new law that exonerates investors and exonerates retirees on shipping my household goods, can I ship my things now? That's a very frequently question that I'm getting. The answer is,
what's the answer? I'm interested to know.
That's a tricky one, though. It is a tricky one. By the way, I'm releasing a video about this on Wednesday at noon on YouTube Prime, so people could ask questions and comment on that. But for you and your podcast, this is available for a limited amount of investors or expats that already have their immigration process in place, that they have the DMEX card or the Costa Rican ID that you get when you're doing this residency process, and that your immigration process have followed under the category of investor, retiree, or pensionado. That's the first thing. So we get people all the time, hey, I hire a company here, can you do customs clearance for me? And I ask, what is your status? I'm a tourist. And then as a tourist, you cannot get this benefit. And to get that, it's going to be a year before immigration allows you to, maybe a year and a half before immigration allows you to be a residency as a investor. So yes, but not everybody.
Well, I mean, I've heard that, again, they reduced the amount to 150, but the actual law to not pay taxes, to be able to bring in two vehicles and not pay taxes, etc., really hasn't been passed. Am I correct in saying that or not?
It just happened that they signed the rules and the regulations for that.
Okay.
Let's say about 3 weeks ago. Just happened. It's fairly new. So the law got passed in June 2021.
Yep.
So the initial law by former President Juan Carlos Alvarado was signed on June 2021.
Yep.
So everybody that has gotten this residency under the investor, from that moment, it's gonna be getting the benefit. Before that, those are not gonna apply for this benefit. So because they get the right, because they apply after getting, after this bill was passed. Now,
and what can they bring in? I mean, what do they get tax free? What are they able to bring in? Because there's still going to be fees. You're just not going to have to pay the taxes. Am I correct in saying that?
That's correct. That's 100% correct. And is 2 automobiles or 2 vehicles. It could be a boat. It could be a car. It could be a motorcycle or 4-wheeler. But 2 vehicles. I think that's the benefit. And then household goods. A container or a shipment. It could be in a small pallet of household goods, or it could be a 40-foot container with all your furniture and your things, right?
Yeah.
But you have to be very smart about how to use this benefit, because the fees to get this additional benefit and the delays of getting this exoneration process ready are going to cost, sometimes, depending on the shipment, more than the benefit. So if you're doing a small shipment, that import taxes are going to be $500,
just pay the
taxes.
$500.
Yeah. If you're doing a 40-foot container,
I mean, if you're bringing in 2 vehicles, though, say you're bringing in 2 vehicles, household like appliances and goods, it's probably worth it, no?
I think so. That once you have the full package, or maybe just one car. I mean, you bring one Toyota Tacoma 2020, that's $25,000.
Yeah. I mean, how much roughly, like, let's take the Toyota Tacoma as an example. I mean, they buy it in the States, they ship it down here. I mean, how much would it cost for it to get from their house to here in Costa Rica with all taxes and fees, roughly? I'm not going to hold your feet.
That's hard. That's really hard. That's really hard to answer.
Yeah.
Let's say they are located at
Miami.
one of the less expensive locations to ship
Miami.
things. Shipment is gonna be around $3,700
Yep.
for our company. You know, and I know there are companies out there that charge $1,200.
Yep.
You know, it's just a totally different scenario. We service a different type of clientele who wants an expert from start to finish.
Yeah.
Some companies will charge $1,500, $1,200, but then you have to figure out what to do at Limon or probably get robbed.
Yeah, you don't want to
things are going to get stolen.
You don't want to do it.
So you want a professional company behind it that manage everything from start to finish with the back end, department of logistics that do everything for you and then coordinate getting the register license, getting the legal part so you can use the vehicle in Costa Rica. It starts at $3,700 for our customers. And then there's other fees that you get a quote and nobody really talks about these fees, but there's other fees that are port fees, the storage fee at the customs terminal. There's many other little things there. If you get this benefit and this exoneration, the exoneration department for customs has up to 2 months to approve. So that could be 2 months of storage. And every month of storage could be $400.
Yeah.
So it's gonna add up. Yeah. But I would say on those, the shipment and some of these expenses, maybe $5,000 to $6,000. It's gonna be kind of like the thing. But the good side of it is like one vehicle could be 20 grand on import taxes.
Yeah.
No, so it's I think it's worth it.
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. But I think it's important what you said, though, that like you need to have the right status and be in the right process. I mean, you need to have your Dimex card. It doesn't mean that like, okay, today I bought a house, I'm going to apply for residency, and then tomorrow I'm going to import you have to wait to get your residency card.
It's important, and you have that, and then after that, you need to register yourself as to get the benefit. So there's a legal process for this. So if people just gonna, if they call me tomorrow, I have my shipment at the terminal and I have the residency, it's gonna be longer because they didn't do this pre-registration process. So I'm asking people, if you're thinking about it, you can get yourself registered. And then when you're shipping everything, you already have 2 weeks to a month of ahead of, with time, you have that additional, you'll be saving time.
Yeah.
If you wait here, it's gonna be longer.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just important for people to understand of just like bureaucracy here in Costa Rica. I mean, it's the same everywhere in the world, but like there's no how-to guide. Like people will tell you multiple different stuff. So like, as I always say to people, don't be penny wise and pound foolish here in Costa Rica, because you'll end up spending it all in storage or almacenes because you don't have the paper ready and they're charging you per day, for it to be there. So
$20 a day.
Yeah.
It's a $15 to $20 a day sometimes. It depends on many factors, but it's even, they even have a formula because they're supposed to have the insurance for the vehicle. So they even have a formula based on the value of the vehicle.
Yeah.
So if the vehicle is very expensive, the per day fee is more expensive.
Well, Pablo, I mean, I think you probably talked to a lot of people looking to invest here in Costa Rica as well. I mean, what would be your advice and what have been the biggest mistakes that you've seen people make?
Okay, advice about investment. I do own a couple of businesses. I do own a couple of, this business is kind of like the main thing. I'm buying another business. Like this week, I'm like, this is why I'm so busy.
Good
so
for you.
I'm buying another business is for expats. So, hopefully that's going to work. I would say, don't put your money on things you don't know. Like this is just my personal thing. I would not invest into Bitcoin. No, it's not. I mean, yeah, it's all fancy, but I mean, not even as stocks. And I know Americans, this is within the American culture, the stocks and all of this, get the retirement funds and all that. And I want to invest in things that I have a lot of control because I know the risk, because I know how things move with customs. I know how to handle things. So I feel safe about those investments because I know how to work these markets. If you're going to invest into something that you're not sure about, you better make sure you have somebody with you to help you along the process. That's just my thing. So right now I'm making this investment on this additional business. I know the expat market. I've been servicing expats for many years. I know how, the marketing part. I know many things. I do a lot of PR, a lot of meetings from Guanacaste to Puerto Viejo de Limon. So I know within a few months, I can make that into profit. Does make any sense just investing in something that you know, at least have a good background knowledge, and that's going to lower the risk of your investment.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, what are the areas of Costa Rica that you personally would be investing in? I mean, what are the areas that you think are either booming at the moment or the ones that are going to boom?
Wow. Okay. Obviously, the areas where you already have a lot of traction.
Yep.
Those areas, like in real estate, location is super important. So if you have a lot of traction, or if you can see a trend of growth for that area, one of those areas is Flamingo. We knew about this.
Yep.
For years. The new marina is coming in, and I know cases for some of my customers that have purchased property in Potrero, which is right next to Flamingo. 6 months later, they build something and they make $200,000 like in 6 months. They flip it and they make $200,000 in like 6-7 months. Very, very quickly. Small little casita with a little pool, super quick to execute. So they make their money, and then so areas where you see a trend of growth, I think they're important. So for that, getting the local knowledge is huge. Having a good advisor telling you this is the area where this is going to happen. They're gonna if they build the double lane highway to San Ramon. Now we're thinking, okay, that's an area that San Ramon may get more value. And there's a lot of experts that we're looking for San Ramon right now, the way it is. But we know the local municipality and the people in San Ramon on these areas are pushing so they can get a new highway because the traffic is horrible. So that could mean that a lot more people from other places of the country that has to work in San Jose may want to purchase a property in San Ramon, which is going to get. So just those ideas, but in general, just try to find places where there is a lot of potential.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this question, Pablo. If you inherited $500,000, it's my last question I love to ask everyone. If you did inherit $500,000 and had to invest it into a business or real estate in Costa Rica, what would you do with it and why?
Okay. This is very, very simple. I've been dreaming about this for at least a couple of years. I would invest in a small boutique hotel, an Airbnb project. That's kind of like one of the things that I've been researching, reading. This is how I found your podcast. I've been trying to figure out and get my hands in as much as information I can on this money or income generate. I mean, a property that generates income, like an Airbnb, short-term rental. Costa Rica is already huge for tourism. We have, literally thousands of people that already visit Costa Rica. It's our main source of income. I mean, for the entire country. This is where the country makes most of its money. From rental cars to tours to hotels. So it's a huge industry already in Costa Rica. So there is already, some infrastructure in place. There is already employees that know how to handle, cleaning, these places. So it's a good platform, and finding that special place where you can make your money. And my thought about it is making an investment on this small Airbnb, make a boutique, so it's affordable to be, because I don't have this $2 million just waiting for for me to this $500 investment right now. But I would start with something small. But the main thought behind it is to flip it in a few years. So it's like five units, 6 units, a small boutique hotel, make it work, make it profitable.
Pablo, you want some advice from someone that had an 8-bedroom hotel? Go ahead. Don't do it. No, you can't. You just need to be very. I don't know. You just need to be very smart. I mean, I would try and get to the 15 rooms plus, just because, again, of revenue, just because your expense profile. But I think that like getting vacation rentals is a lot easier, just because you don't have the payroll. You see, whereas with a hotel, your biggest expense is going to be your payroll, because you're going to have someone there, on front desk constantly. You're going to need maid service. You're going to need, chefs, barman. Like, it just adds up, if you know what I mean. And before you know it, 50% of your revenue has already gone in that, in payroll, and anyway, you know all about that. So,
running a business in Costa Rica has its expenses, legal expenses. So
I mean,
I hear you. Yeah. I may be wrong. Once again, I'm researching. I kind of like, this is my dream of putting together, maybe $300,000 or $400,000 and going into small investment like that. But
Yeah.
You need to learn more.
Well, I mean, I can't say anything. I'm about to do 2 more. So yeah, I'm a glutton for punishment. But I learned from the last one, so I'm modifying this plan a little bit here. So, but yeah. Well, Pablo, this has been great. I really appreciate you taking time to come on the podcast and kind of share all of your information here. I mean, I think it's vital on the shipping thing, just because, again, not lots of people do that. And to be able to have someone to kind of hold your hand through that process, I think is vital. So I'll put all of your contact details in the description. Anyone that wants to reach out with Pablo, they can. But really appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great day. Good podcast there with Pablo, guys. As I think you can see, importing stuff into Costa Rica, you have to have your Dimex, your residency card, already approved and in your hands. So it's not that you can just invest $150,000 and tomorrow import everything. You know, you have to probably wait, I would say, about a year to get all of your documents together. You know, and this is again, the law was only signed into law about 3 weeks ago, but. If you want to contact Pablo, all of his contact details are in the description below. I mean, again, Costa Rica is not for the faint-hearted when dealing with any government import agencies here, for anyone that's had any of that experience. So Pablo and his company there can help you out. And remember, if you need any help on investing in Costa Rica, you can do. You know, a lot of people kind of say to me, well, Rich, you should really give an idea of your experience that you have here in Costa Rica. But I mean, just to summarize it, I've managed about $1 billion of luxury vacation sales, owned one of Costa Rica's largest luxury travel companies, built one of the top boutique hotels here. I've been very lucky, as I like to say. And now, you know, we've got some personal projects. We just bought a condo in Tamarindo, which we're redoing. We bought some land in Oaxaca, which we've just sold. We've just bought another piece in Oaxaca, looking at a place up in the mountains towards San Carlos, La Fortuna area, of doing a big development up there. So lots of things happening, but we've always got time to help people out. And you can contact us, info@investingcostarica.com. That's info@investingcostarica.com. But until the next podcast, guys, we'll chat to you later. Bye.
The #1 Costa Rica real estate and investment podcast, bringing you experts from all over Costa Rica.